Have you ever found yourself stuck in a situation where your neighbors or relatives drain your energy, stir up drama, or make you question your sanity? You're not alone. Today we'll reveal the 3 types of neighbors and 3 types of relatives you need to avoid, and how Stoic philosophy can help you stay calm and collected through it all. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be walking away with tools that'll transform how you handle those challenging relationships. Welcome back, my wise friends. If you're new here, welcome to a channel where we merge ancient wisdom with modern-day problems to help you navigate life with more peace, less stress, and a healthy sense of humor. In today's video, we're going deep into something we all deal with at some point in life: toxic people, specifically toxic neighbors and relatives. Yes, those who make you wonder, why did I ever move here? Or why is family drama always so exhausting? The best part? We're not just pointing fingers and complaining. We're going to explore practical Stoic tools that will shield your mind from these toxic influences. Whether it's the competitive neighbor, the gossiper, or the overly friendly relative, Stoicism gives us the strength to stay calm, set healthy boundaries, and protect our mental space. So grab your cup of tea, sit back, and let's explore these difficult personalities through the lens of Stoic philosophy. 1. The gossiping neighbor. Let's start with the gossiping neighbor. They can be charming at first. They may seem friendly, eager to bond, and share stories, often about things that don't concern you at all. They might start by talking about the neighborhood's history or the local community events. But soon, you'll find yourself trapped in a conversation where they're dissecting the private lives of others in the neighborhood. Here's the thing about gossip: it's contagious. Before you know it, you're not just hearing about people in the neighborhood, but you're also talking about them. It becomes an unhealthy cycle of judging others and spreading negativity. Real-life example: Priya's encounter with the gossiping neighbor. Let me tell you about Priya, a young professional who was new to the neighborhood. She loved getting to know her neighbors, so when Mrs. Sharma knocked on her door with a homemade cake, Priya thought, "This is the start of a great friendship." Mrs. Sharma seemed like the perfect neighbor, always kind, always checking in, and offering advice on everything from grocery stores to home repairs. But soon, Mrs. Sharma started making offhand comments about other neighbors. Priya noticed that every time Mrs. Sharma visited, she would mention things like, "Did you hear about Rajiv? His wife is always out late." Or, "I hear the Singhs are going through a divorce." Priya didn't give it much thought at first. She discovered, however, after a few visits, that Mrs. Sharma had nothing positive to say about anyone. She was constantly passing judgment, spreading rumors, and making assumptions in her talks. So what does Stoicism teach us in this situation? Well, according to Epictetus, the external world, including other people's behavior, is beyond our control. What we can control is how we respond to it. Stoics don't engage in gossip, nor do they allow it to influence their peace of mind. Here's how we can apply this philosophy. Disengage from gossip. When someone starts gossiping, don't feel pressured to join in. Stoicism teaches us to guard our thoughts, and that includes avoiding the temptation to gossip. As Marcus Aurelius said, "It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." Set clear boundaries. If the gossiping neighbor insists on sharing stories that you don't want to hear, kindly let them know. You can say, "I prefer not to discuss others behind their back," or simply say, "I'm not comfortable engaging in this conversation." Setting boundaries is a Stoic virtue because it preserves your inner peace. Practice silence. Just choose to be silent if you are having trouble changing the subject. "We suffer more often in our imagination than in reality," Seneca remarked. You're protecting your mind from negativity by avoiding poisonous conversations. Now, let's move on to the competitive neighbor. These neighbors seem to always be in competition with everyone around them. Whether it's the new car they just bought, the extension to their house, or the latest gadgets they seem to always have, they constantly make you feel like you're falling short. The problem with competitive neighbors is that their constant comparison makes you feel like you're never doing enough. It might start innocently with them talking about their vacations, and before you know it, you're feeling like you have to measure up. It's exhausting. Real-life example, AJ's battle with the competitive neighbor. AJ was someone who loved simple things. He found joy in his small garden, took pride in his work, and felt content with what he had. But his neighbor, Mr. Kapoor, had a habit of bragging about everything, especially his garden. Every time Ajay planted a new flower, Mr. Kapoor would somehow outdo him by purchasing rare orchids or installing a fancy water feature. Ajay noticed that he was no longer enjoying gardening since he was attempting to keep up with Mr. Kapoor's garden rather than enjoying his own, and even the most tranquil pastimes came to feel competitive. How would Stoics handle a competitive neighbor? They would remind themselves that comparison is a trap, and the only competition that matters is the one with themselves. Here's how we can handle a competitive neighbor. Focus on your own values. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to focus on what's truly important to us. Don't let someone else's competition dictate how you should live your life. Ask yourself, am I happy with what I have? And does this bring me fulfillment? Limit exposure to comparison. It's easy to get sucked into the comparison game, but a Stoic avoids that by limiting exposure to the things that fuel competition. If Mr. Kapoor's garden is stressing you out, remind yourself that his success doesn't affect your happiness. What matters is how you define success for yourself. Celebrate your own progress. Don't measure your worth by other people's standards. Progress is personal, and your journey is unique to you. Celebrate your growth, whether it's small or big, because Stoics know that true happiness comes from within. Let's dive into the third type of neighbor you should watch out for, the overly friendly neighbor. They seem to invade your personal space in the name of being helpful or just being friendly. Whether it's them popping by uninvited, calling you at all hours, or offering to help in ways that feel more like an imposition, these neighbors can be draining. At first, it's sweet, right? But over time, you start feeling like you don't have time to breathe without them popping into your life. And if you try to say no, you feel guilty for rejecting their helpful gestures. Real-life example. Ritika's struggle with an overly friendly neighbor. Ritika was thrilled when her new neighbor, Neha, welcomed her with open arms. Neha was always smiling, always bringing over snacks, and always offering to help with errands. Ritika thought, wow, what a kind person. But soon, Ritika began to notice that Neha was too present. If Ritika didn't answer the door, Neha would keep knocking, offering help. Neha wanted to help with every aspect of Ritika's life, from cleaning to choosing what groceries to buy. The pressure became overwhelming, and Ritika started feeling like she couldn't get a moment's peace. So, how do Stoics deal with overly friendly neighbors who encroach on your personal space? Stoicism teaches us that self-preservation is key. We need to protect our personal boundaries to preserve our mental well-being. Here's how we can handle it. Set boundaries. Firmly and kindly. The Stoics believe in asserting ourselves respectfully. You can say, I appreciate your kindness, but I really need some alone time right now. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary for your mental health. Take time for yourself. Epictetus teaches us to prioritize what's within our control, your time and energy. If someone is overstepping, it's okay to be direct and let them know that you need some time for yourself. A healthy work-life balance isn't just for your job, it's for your relationships too. Practice gratitude for your alone time. Stoics believe in appreciating solitude. Instead of feeling guilty about needing space, view it as an opportunity for self-reflection, rest, or pursuing hobbies that enrich your life. It might be exhausting to deal with toxic neighbors, but we can handle these relationships with courage, grace, and elegance if we apply Stoic wisdom. Recall that you have power over your own reaction, not that of others. Focus on cultivating inner peace and using these Stoic tools to protect your mental and emotional health. The next time you encounter a gossiping neighbor, a competitive one, or an overly friendly one, use these tools to safeguard your peace. What types of toxic neighbors or relatives have you encountered? How did you handle them? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on Stoic wisdom and how to live a fulfilling life. Thanks for watching, and may your days be full of calm, peace, and wisdom.